Hey folks, welcome to today's Urgent Alert. My name is Matthew Buckley. You guys know me. My call sign is Wiz. The Urgent Alert, folks, is one of the model portfolios that I manage here at Top Gun Options. I manage 4 of them. The primary live trade brief, you got a chance to attend today, and we did some really good work in the primary live trade brief. Hell, our bull put spread on Apple is up 23% alone today for about $500. It's a $500 gain in a half a day. I like that. Along with yesterday, I sent out a weekly options trade that at $1.15, a bull put spread, the 24.10, 24.15 bull put spread at $1.15. That's at about 27 cents. Using mental math, that's about $1,300. So $1,300 in a day. Plus about $500 out of Apple. That's about $1,800, folks. So I've almost paid for an annual membership in just a short time we've been together in our Full Throttle program. We're going to be opening up the slots to our Full Throttle program here in a little bit, and we're going to. It's actually going to be tomorrow after our accelerated retirement session. So at about, I think accelerated retirement goes from about 1 to 2:15, 2:30, and then we're going to I'm going to open up the slots. There's only 50 of them. I know we got some emails and support trying to get an early jump on it. It's not going to happen, folks. When we fire the gun tomorrow afternoon, that's when you can start grabbing them. They usually go pretty quick. We're still going to do our briefs tomorrow night, our vertical spread training with Doug Robertson, and we'll still do the weekly options and the debrief on Friday. So very, very happy. And again, men lie, numbers don't, and screens don't. So there you go. Looking very, very happy with our positions here. The urgent alert. This is the combined. Since I only do 1 or 2 weekly options trades a week, kind of doesn't make any sense to have 4 separate screens here. So the urgent alert and weekly options model portfolio is up over $60,000 year to date. If you look at this screen and say, holy crap, this guy's awesome, there are no losing trades. There's a hell of a lot of losing trades in here. What you do is you try and make them up. I mean, I have a couple long-term Disney trades that aren't doing so hot, but net, even though they're not doing so hot at the Jan 19, guess what happens? You trade the front month, just like I told you today on Apple. Let's put on a Jan 19. We're going to be uber bullish. Uber sucks. Uber bullish on Apple in the Jan 19, but we can also trade the front months. Put on bull put spreads, iron condors, sell bear call spreads. So don't get me wrong. There's a hell of a lot of losing trades in this, but guess what? We make them up in the long run by trading tactically. Okay. So I'll send out a screenshot with the portfolio review of the adjustments to the existing positions for my members. It'll be on the page that you're viewing here. But guess what? I want to get right into a new trade alert. Here's a perfect example, folks. Brazil. I have a long-term bullish trade out to Jan 19 on Brazil. It's down $1,000 right now. Well, Wiz, how are you down? Well, guess what? Where's Brazil here? Well, I'm up net $278. Why? Because I trade the front months, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now with a bear call spread on the EWZ. If you're not familiar, the EWZ is the Brazil iShares ETF. This thing tends to trade sideways until they have stupidity. Here's stupidity. This is President Temer, who took over after Dilma got impeached and booted out of office. First female president. She spent years in political prison and being tortured, and she ended up sucking. Of course, Hillary Clinton flew down there a couple years ago, Secretary of State, and said she was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I digress. So this is, and in the full interest of disclosure, folks, I know a lot about this scandal because JBS, go ahead and Google JBS. It's one of the largest food companies in the world. Well, apparently, how do I know about JBS? I gave a speaking tour last year to about 15, 17 cities around the United States and in Canada for JBS on with some pork, cow, and chicken companies they bought here in the United States. So I know the JBS executives. I know Wesley Batista. He's the CEO. I've met his father. Juan Minero doesn't speak a lick of English, but I met him a couple times. Their headquarters is down in Sao Paulo. Know a lot about these guys. Well, apparently some of them are in tape talking to the president of Brazil. Hey, can we kind of get some permits a little quicker? Maybe there's $1 million in this envelope. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I'll go to the bathroom. Here's what happened, folks. So as soon as word of these tapes broke, what happened? The Brazil market, the Bovespa, imploded. 40, well, this isn't the Bovespa, this is the EWZ, but it imploded from 40 down to 32. And then we had an incredible snapback rally. I sent out a trade alert right around here, guys, to get long out to Jan 19 on this. Oh, wow, Wiz, you're magical. You picked the bottom? No, I just know that Brazil is used to this. they're like our politicians are anything to write home about. What I'm getting at, folks, is Brazil gets used to this, folks. They impeached the last lady. This guy might be in trouble. So I knew there was going to be a snapback. And then we're going to move sideways here. We're going to move a little sideways. Don't forget that any of the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, I don't trade India, China and South Africa, don't trade South Africa, India, they tend to trade together. So write that term down if you've never heard it, the BRICS. It's like the FANGs in technology stocks, the BRICS. So we're seeing a little bit of there was a nice, and I talked about Apple today, folks, with that implosion and the bounce back. This was a gap down. You see this, holy crap, are we going to impeach another guy? It did not come up and meet, this snapback rally didn't come up and meet the holy crap implosion. What's that mean? If it had hit this and kept going, it's uber bullish. If it falls short of this, and it did, it's bearish. So strategic mindset for the overall markets and down in Brazil is still cautiously bullish. My target is the EWZ. Step 3 in your trade plan are the commit criteria, and I kind of gave you a lot of them. Whew. It was a long day. Sorry I didn't get this trade alert out during market hours, folks. Literally, I had popcorn and I was watching the session's testimony. Another reason why the market rallied and our SPX weekly bull put spread, I saw some traffic on a lot of members who were like, hey, Wiz, I'm staying in this. I'm like, I'd get out before the Fed announcement tomorrow. But again, you guys signed for your own airplane, and you do what you need to do. Remember, pigs get slaughtered, folks. So I'm going to take a look at probably the 35.5 bear call spread. I don't think we're gonna see the EWZ turn around. They ain't coming out tomorrow and saying, hey, this guy's clear and everything's out of the woods. It's kind of like the Trump. This thing's just the Russia thing's just gonna meander on. I think he should fire Mueller. Mueller just hired 4 attorneys who are all Democratic donors. He's a friend of Comey. How is this? And Comey admitted that he leaked this memo illegally to the Washington Post, hoping that they'd appoint a special prosecutor. So the guy set this all up. So the fact that Trump, by Comey's own admission, isn't under investigation, why do we have a special counsel? Maddening. Let's get back to the trade. I'm going to put on a bear call spread. I'm going to go out a couple weeks like I did on Apple to about June 30th. And a bear call spread, folks, I'm going to take a look at, what did I say, the 35.5, okay? Vertical. So let me add edit legs real quick here. I think I'm doing 125 contracts. I'll slow down here in a second. So I'm going to sell 125. Why 125? Give me 2 minutes. Of the June 30th. Why? Because we're seeing some weakness in here. I don't want to sell it out the next Friday. I'm going to give myself 2 weeks for this trade to work of the 35 calls. Why? Because that's the half the snapback rally level, and it didn't reach it, and I don't see any catalysts out there that are going to turn the Bovespa or the EWZ around short term. Add that to your commit criteria. As a hedge, Wiz, you're wrong. The JBS guys say, I was drunk that night. I didn't mean it. The president didn't say anything wrong, and the thing rallies and has a rip-your-face-off rally. Well, that's going to suck for this trade. That's why we're going to buy these 35.5 calls to the upside, and if it does have a rip-your-face-off rally, we're hedged above 35.5. As you guys know, I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can put it on the member page that all of you should be able to see. I'm even letting the full throttle folks peek behind the curtains and see what our member pages look like. EWZ, what's today, 6/13. And this is what you do, folks. Even though the Jan 19 trade's down about a grand here, we potentially bring in, you ready for it? Let me go mid-market. And like I'm pounding in all my potential full throttle folks' heads. When I click this analyze button, you're only going to look at one place and one place only. It's the sad face. Max potential loss. That's right around my SOP of not wanting to risk more than $5,000 or 5% of the model portfolio on any one trade. That's me. You might be 2.5%, you might be 10%, you might be 50%. That would be dumb. But you have to come up with your own SOP. That's mine. It's been that way for a quarter of a century. I like it. Because if I get blown out in a trade, it sucks, but I live to fight another day. All right? Now that I'm okay with looking at this risk and saying, yep, I understand there's a 21% probability, Jesus comes back and says, by the way, I'm Brazilian, and, the EWZ pops, that sucks. But now I can look at max potential profit and say, hell yeah, I wouldn't mind making $1,400 in 2 weeks. And using current at-the-money volatility, there's a 70% probability of that happening. The break-even point, right? If you do the math here, what's the short 35? You add 11 cents. In the old days, we had to do this mentally. 35.11 is the break even. As I covered today with the Apple bull put spread, we get theta with this trade. Whenever you sell something, when you sell a credit spread, I like being the house, folks. I like being the Ferrari dealer down here in Fort Lauderdale. The MGM Grand or the Venetian in Vegas, it doesn't look like it looks, folks, because it's a charity. You want to be the house. And when you sell something as the house, you get, look down here at this Greek called theta. You get time decay. And I said it again, and I said it this morning, I'll say it again. Unched on the day equals time decay. If the EWZ is unchanged tomorrow and we're filled on this trade, we get time decay. We make money on time decay every day. If you're a debit spread person, you'd rather buy a bear put spread, good luck. I hate it. Even when you're making money in a debit spread, you're losing money because when you peel out of the parking lot in your debit spread, you got theta working against you, okay? So I really, really like this trade. Now remember, I double the credit that I take in as my eject level. If this trade keeps going up in value, that's bad. That means the EWZ is going up. If the EWZ is going up, I double the credit that I take in. If it hits 22 cents, my jet's on fire, man. I'm going to consider ejecting out of the trade, and I don't want to take the max loss, okay? Now, just inside of the 22 cents, right about 19 to 20 cents, I'm going to call the adjust level. Pull my oxygen mask off, scratch my chin and go, starting to smell smoke in the cockpit. One of my engine fire lights is on. Should I land my plane? Should I adjust this trade now? Okay, so that's called the adjust level. I'd look to adjust this trade at about 19 to 20 cents if it moves against me, and I'd look at getting out of the trade and ejecting, giving the jet back to the taxpayers at 22 cents, okay? 613 metrics. I'm going to post this, and we should be good to go. If that was a little quick, it's meant to be, folks, because I'm not going to sit here and give away all our training and everything like that. You're getting to see our squadron in motion here. Now, I'm going to try and get filled on this trade plus or minus a cent. I'll go up to 12 cents or down to 10 cents. Anything more than that, it's either too cheap or too expensive. The risk to reward just ain't in WIZ's SOP, okay? So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to text it out. This is still good to go with the open. I mean, we might actually be able to get, I think it's probably going to open around 10 cents. If it opens around 9, ditch this trade, and I'll take a look at maybe a different urgent alert for the week. Okay? And like I said, folks, I'll send out a separate blast to my members with the updates to the existing positions in the urgent alert portfolio. Okay? All right, guys. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Accelerator Retirement with Doug Robertson. We're going to open 50 slots, and for the folks who emailed support or called support and said, can I have one now? The answer was no. You need to be there. At about 2:15, I'm going to open up the slots, and then tomorrow night, you're going to meet Doug Robertson, and he's going to give you vertical spread training. We're just going to give you a sample of the type of training we do here at TGO once you become a member, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged. I'm going to see many of you tomorrow for Accelerator Retirement.